Ready?
All right.
Alrighty then, we are live. You ready for some fun, Heather?
Just about. I'm letting my people on the YouTube community tab know that I'm going live with you right now.
Very good. Yeah, we've had very little time to set up any sort of stream tonight here. We're going way on the fly. We've pretty much just spent the whole day watching frickin' anime and rotting our brains out, haven't we?
Oh, we really have, but most of it was Spy Family, so that's not so bad. It's kind of wholesome.
Yeah, Spy Family was definitely wholesome, and we were doing pretty good. We watched we watched the first episode of Frieren. How'd you think about that?
It was kind of fucking depressing, bro. I was really sad.
Yeah, everybody hypes that thing up like it's like it's really good characters and funny. But apparently it's just depressing.
I'm really just trying to recover from that right now.
Oh, babe, you gotta speak up.
I'm gonna speak up. It's just fucking the elf shit lifespan. All her friends are dead! Is that better?
Yeah, I guess like I looked over at the audio levels, and you were like in the low greens. There's no anybody can hear you like that.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Indeed. So what are you doing on your phone right now?
I'm posting on my YouTube community tab that I'm going live with you, so people on my subscription feed can see that I'm streaming with you right now. About going over Equestria Daily's community Soapbox, which has been a great way we have garnered discussion between the two of us just alone.
Indeed. And we've got ways for people who are watching the show to join in should they so desire.
Please don't be another Starlight rant for me.
Yeah, you're getting pretty burnt out on that one, aren't you?
It's been all week with me. People have been
we're doing it again next week too. That'll be the final one though.
I hope you kill me at the end of this.
I don't want to kill you. I just want you to lose the debate.
I'm not losing, Brawny. I'm just objectively correct in this regard. And it's really a heavy burden. I think you must understand how hard it is to be right this hard.
No, I know exactly what that's right because because I too am always right.
Being right is so difficult. I'm just so exhausted with people trying to argue this to me that Starlight could possibly be a good character and possibly a good person, and me just having to knock it down like, no, you're wrong. She sucks. Can we please talk about something else?
Well, we're gonna talk about something else here. So yeah, thanks everybody who tunes in. Anyway, if you want to come and share your thoughts on the show, you'll notice at the very top of the description is a link to a Discord server. It's completely free to join. If you join in there and flag me down, let me know what you want to talk about, what you want to respond to, and if I find your topic interesting, you'll be given permission to come on the show, and we'll have you on. So, in the meantime, though, let's get to actually reading some Equestria Daily here. So,
make sure you cite what dates these things were printed at, right, honey? Because last time I think we realized, we're responding to stuff that was like a year old.
Yeah, let me see here.
I'm not saying we have to be like extremely current, but I kind of want to know where we're coming at with this conversation.
Right, and this one was from December 13th.
Okay,
2023, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see what they were talking about.
So
then.
We've got no more world building for G5. I've really got to get better at talking. You'd think after so many years of doing this twice a week, I'd be better at talking by now, but nope, I just have a permanent built-in speech impediment. MLP, what if Celestia was banished? Okay, so, and we got more. No more world building in G5 by Otaku Senpai. I hate your name.
Oh, wonderful. And it's not even Senpai like S-E-N-P-A-I. It's S-E-M. Like M as in mother, P-A-I. That is like rich weeb shit right there.
I'm pretty sure.
Let me read this.
I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to be sen, not sem.
Otaku Senpai. Let me read this, honey. I'll take this.
Okay, let's do it.
Does the quote-unquote apparent end of Make Your Mark signal the end of any significant world building in G5? The format of Tell Your Tale doesn't leave much room for expanding in the world or even for exploring any ongoing plot points. There will be 22-minute specials, but those seem to be few and far between. Make Your Mark could be either renewed or replaced with another 22-minute show. However, the next best option might be to create a stronger community between the IDW comics and the animation. So far, the comics have been a bit disappointing in terms of providing stronger writing and more interesting plots. I'd like to see that change. Am I the only one? So that's kind of brief. That's one of the shorter ones we've received, and I have not read any of the G5 sort of comics. Like, even the one that had Discord in it, I didn't read. I haven't had a chance. So this might be one I'm severely lacking context and background information on, you know? I haven't finished the Make Your Mark stuff yet.
Indeed. From what I saw at a glance, the comics looked like they had more interesting stories, but whether or not they're well written, that's entirely, and that's, I'm going to keep saying it. All Gen 5 needed to do was have good writing, and it doesn't. And that's the whole problem there. You cannot just ride the coattails of G4 and not put in any effort.
Yeah, this one I'm finding a hard time to expand on. It feels like I had to been an avid follower of G5, and I'm just not, because it was hard to, like, even follow along to begin with.
Yeah, so Otaku Senpai, what you're talking about here requires effort and talent, and that is something that G5 has not been willing to put forth.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we have to move on from that one.
But
quickly.
you're not the only one. The whole fandom wants that.
Alright, so MLP, what if Celestia was banished and not Luna? I love a good alternate universe conversation, so why don't you start us out, honey?
Alright. The very first episode talked about how Celestia and Luna once ruled together before Luna became Nightmare Moon. This was that no one appreciated what beauty the night was, unlike what the day had showed. As a result, Celestia banished Nightmare Moon with the elements of harmony to the moon for 1,000 years until she returned only to be defeated by the main six.
I feel like we skipped a few things. Like, that wasn't everything that happened. I feel like they described even more of that in the first episode of My Little Pony of the Gen 4 series. Like they said, this was that no one appreciated the beauty that the night has, unlike what the day showed. Yeah, I think they went over a little bit about how Luna was kind of sour, that, ponies slept during the night and didn't really appreciate the night sky, and then they were just, like, always partying in the daylight, but I feel like that overgeneralized it, but please continue.
Mm-hmm. This was a good way for Friendship is Magic to start for Gen 4, but could have been different. Luna was seduced by her jealousy, but could have been different if it was Celestia instead.
Okay, work us into that. Sounds
I mean,
good.
I've read this fan fiction before, but let's move on.
Baby, I love fan fiction.
Even though Celestia is compassionate and motherly, but was pompous in her young...
I believe you meant to say in her youth.
Double C. And we've run into Double C before. Double
Have
C.
we?
Yeah.
What did they write last?
I don't remember exactly, but I know we've seen Double C writing for these things multiple times before. Double C, if you're listening, or if anybody in the audience knows who Double C is, pass this message on to Double C. Read your crap to yourself out loud before you post it and fix your godforsaken sentence structure.
I think that's fair. I need to proofread my own stuff before I post it. I'm terrible at this.
Like, at this point, it's not even just, like, I will fully admit that I am a pretentious grammar Nazi, but this is below middle school levels of sentence structure here.
Hey,
you can do better.
Yeah.
I cannot understand what you're saying. It's not just me being a grammar Nazi. I cannot understand what you're saying.
Double C, I want to put in there, it's probably because we appreciate the concept of what you're trying to write, which is why we're so critical about it. We want to hear your idea in a better frame than how you've put it currently. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We enjoy the concept of what you're trying to say. We just want it formatted in a better way so we can understand more what you're trying to tell us. You know, it's all for your benefit.
Also, now that I'm thinking, I feel like most of what we see from Double C are a lot of these, like, fan fiction sort of ideas.
Yeah, like alternate universe kind of ideas, which I can appreciate. I love going into alternate universe ideas.
Yeah,
it's
but
fun.
I need Double C to learn how to write before he tries to write fan fiction.
Double C, just, we appreciate it. Try a little harder. We would love it if you did. You have good ideas, and we want to talk about it. It'd be great.
All right, even though she changed, but the ponies giving more of her work would have brought this back.
Yeah, this sentence I'm kind of confused by.
She would have been spoiled and arrogant to the point that she doesn't want to lower the sun and keep Equestria in eternal day.
This is an interesting idea, if true, but I think you should format it in a
They sort
way
of
that it's
explained
more
this
your
with-
idea.
They sort of explored this with the idea of Daybreaker.
They did, but I feel like you're kind of just like citing this like it's a fact, like it's something that probably would have happened. But in the canon of My Little Pony, it probably wouldn't have, because it didn't. So maybe just cite that a little better.
Rusty has an interesting point here.
Yeah.
I wonder if English is Double C's first language.
That could be a very big problem, because, there's a lot of My Little Pony fans, bronies, they're everywhere, and English is not always the first language. So that's fair. That's fair.
Alrighty then, where did I leave off? Okay, when Luna opposed, Celestia would become the dreaded Daybreaker. To me, Daybreaker is among the best villains, even in a short time the MLP staff had made. This would show more of her personality and power than the show could.
I guess it would be exploring a different aspect of Celestia's personality. I can kind of see where they're getting at with that.
She seems to destroy anyone in the blink of an eye, unlike Nightmare, who toys with everyone.
That's debatable. That's debatable, because I feel like when we met Daybreaker, it was only in Starlight's kind of weird nightmare situation, and Daybreaker seemed to like the toying of individuals. But I suppose any maniacal...
No, her
cartoonish
and Nightmare
binge-
Moon were fighting in that dream. Like, that was a duel.
A little bit, but I feel like in her dream there was a lot more toy. Because when we're in My Little Pony, a lot of the villains seem cartoonish because they're in a cartoon, but she was really Don't drink that.
Okay, so just so you guys know, Heather has this drink that was like right on the corner edge of my desk, hovering over my PC, and you're kind of...
It is on the corner, but
you're
it wasn't
a little
gonna
animated
fall.
here, Heather. There's
Okay,
not
but-
zero chance you could have knocked it over, so I'm holding it in my hand.
As long as you don't drink it,
I'm not
because
gonna
you
drink
can't
it.
handle what's in that
No, I
glass.
cannot.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I feel like Daybreaker is no better than Nightmare Moon.
No, they're equally as bad for different
they're the
reasons.
same thing, but they want like day and night,
Indeed.
They're the same thing, basically.
Yeah, Luna would use the elements of harmony to banish her to the sun, much like Celestia did.
I like that concept. It's really funny to me because it's come up in a few fan fictions where like Celestia would be placed in the sun, but you just can't see her because the sun's so bright. You can't see the mare in the sun like you would the mare in the moon. Though I love the aesthetic of mare in the moon.
Yeah, that was
I loved that. That looked amazing. I'm sorry, Luna. I don't want you to be trapped in the moon, but I love the aesthetic of a mare being stuck in the moon. That was a great thing.
Okay. I'm going to stop trying to highlight it because my mouse is all over the place. Luna would take on the same roles of raising and lowering both the sun and the moon while doing her royal duties, but it would be interesting to see her involvement with the school for gifted unicorns. We never see her involved with the students and staff in the show after her return. One of her powers that would grow in 1,000 years is her dream abilities. We know she's been doing this since season 3, but imagine how strong they would be after if her 1,000-year resign would perfect it. You're looking for the word rain.
So we're looking for like that one season closer where we went into alternate universes and one of the futures was Nightmare Moon taking over. So we're delving into that future.
Yeah, cutie remark.
Exactly. Like I hated that one because I hate time travel, but the Nightmare Moon universe was the one I was interested in exploring. I'm interested in that. I am.
Indeed. But one thing the show would have, Luna is her parental side. She showed to be more of an aunt figure. If she had the same motherly instincts like Celestia in the show, she would have been good towards ones like Spike and Gallus, since neither one knew, put a K at the front of that, please, their real moms. She would still show the same to both Cadence and Twilight if she was in Celestia's place. For the story, Twilight, as Luna's student, would have warned about the return of Daybreaker. Luna gets imprisoned in the moon, and Daybreaker would be more of a challenge due to her scorched earth approach. It would be interesting if Luna was Celestia's size while Celestia was Luna's size. I don't even know what the heck you're going with.
I kind of get what they're going for. So it's really just a role reversal they want to go for. If Luna was in Celestia's place and if Celestia was in Luna's place. I get it. We've kind of had fanfics like this before. Like, think of that one comic we were really into at the same time, The Rogue Diamond, where it was like Celestia kind of took the role of Nightmare Moon, got jealous of Luna, and she decided to make Eternal Daytime. And things were drying up. Ice caps were melting, flooded everywhere. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Rogue Diamond is great. It's I think it got discontinued, which sucks.
Oh, it better not have. I'll have to check up on that because it was such an amazing art style. I love comics.
I happen to know that the frickin' artist has a bunch of spin-off frickin' porn comics of that
Look,
series.
you gotta make money somehow.
Okay, but use the if you're gonna make the porn, at least
Brawny,
use the porn to make the actual comics. She's just like, no, we're discontinuing the actual Rogue Diamond series.
Guys, so here's what I need you to do. Everyone in the chat, I need you to subscribe to me and share my content as much as possible, because as soon as I can get, like, me as a streamer and content creator full-time, I will put as much Patreon money as I can into this artist's bank account and ask for just narrative-driven stuff. Or you can just go to them, the people who created Rogue Diamond, and go to them, join them on Patreon, be like, hey, I'm interested in your narrative-driven stuff. We love you. Do that. Just support artists so they don't always have to make porn. I get it. Horny people are just willing to throw money at a lot of stuff more easily than us. But I want to help the people who want to, like, make narrative-driven stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know? I know why we got to make porn. A lot of people need to make porn.
While you're at it, subscribe to my Patreon so I can finish my story and retire from YouTube, for God's sake.
God, goodness gracious. Yeah, we have a lot going on.
So, what if Celestia was banished and not Luna? Well, obviously we would get the universe that we saw with Nightmare Moon in Cutie Remark.
And Rarity got a really great outfit.
Yep. They I'm pretty sure that would really be it. And we don't like, what do you think? Like, so what we saw with Daybreaker, that was just the figment of Starlight's imagination. So, Heather, what do you think an evil Celestia would be like?
We might get closer to what was in the, the My Little Pony card game, where there was a different version of evil Celestia. I forget what the name of it was. It was Queen something, I believe. I feel like you would know this before me because you were into the card game.
I was, and I'm certain I have that card, but
hold on. Let me just Google it real quick. I have my cell phone right in front of me. Celestia evil form. There's Daybreaker, which is obvious, but there's a different one. I want to
type in MLP card. Because there was evil Celestia from the IDW comics and the Reflections
so there's
arc.
like 3 different versions. There's like 3 different versions. I know what it looked like. If I saw, it was this. It was this. It was this. This was the card that I remember.
Yeah, she's got it pulled up on her phone right now. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to share that.
So it's Nightmare Star is what they called it. That was a card.
Daybreaker's a way better name than Nightmare Star.
It really was. And this one, well, I kind of like what they did. They gave her, like, some goat horns and stuff. Mm-hmm. Let me Google Nightmare Star, and that would probably work. Nightmare Star, because I want to discuss that more, because it definitely came first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, the
Paladin says, but Heather, those were not alternate timelines. They were false timelines not meant to exist.
To be fair, they were fun alternate universes to explore.
And the way that Friendship is Magic handled time travel, which is, I believe, the correct way to handle time travel, is they do it linearly. So the past always happened, and the present is always affected by the past, and the future can't really affect the right. So like everything in It's About Time happened because Twilight made her own destiny.
Yeah,
it's the same thing there. So they had to go when Starlight and Twilight were fighting. They had to go back to the same point of the rainbow every time, and the change rippled. So when they let the rainbow happen, everything went back to where it was. So it never happened is really the best way to put it.
I guess. Oh God, that was another thing I hated about that finale, was going back to the same scene over and over again. That was the one time I felt bad for Rainbow Dash, was reliving that moment on and on and on again.
Well, she didn't know that.
Well, I know she didn't know, but I knew. Okay, I hated that. Ugh.
Just imagine being Rainbow Dash and trying to like have a race against your classmates, and all of a sudden
it was just a simple childhood thing.
And all of a sudden you're petrified. You're just locked up in a block of stone.
I hate Starlight Glimmer so fucking
I know
much.
you
Can
do.
we like move on to something different? I'm getting frustrated now. Why is it getting back to Starlight Glimmer?
Okay, addressing the Luna bias again from...
No, not Iron Yoshi!
Who's Iron Yoshi?
We've dealt with them before. Hold on, I'll read this.
Okay.
A while back, I did a Soapbox entry discussing the overabundance of Princess Luna on Equestria Daily. Yeah, she's pretty. We all love her. Fuck off.
Let me just say something here.
Yeah.
There is definitely a common theme in the Brony fandom of where if somebody likes Trixie, they also like Luna.
Yeah, they like Blue.
Yeah, or just underrated or overrated characters.
Totally.
Yeah.
I definitely see why they do, because not only is Princess Luna the underdog like they like, she's blue, which is everyone's favorite color, and she's also like the pony embodiment of Linkin Park and edginess and I'm so sad, right? Every Brony could relate to that at some point in time. And Celestia is the popular cheerleader Una Alicorn person. You get what I'm saying?
I get that.
It's that dynamic. I understand it perfectly.
But obviously there's going to be a lot of Princess Luna on Equestria Daily, because we all know that the people who run Equestria Daily are Trixie fags. So it's how it works.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, they totally love Trixie. And I love Trixie too. And I love Luna, so whatever. But anyways, I continue. It did feel a bit nitpicky, but you gotta admit she's literally shoehorned into everything to the point that you kind of get tired of seeing her everywhere. I'm not. And in the year or two since that entry was made, have things gotten any better? I hate to say it, but not really. I'm sorry that she's so pretty. Anyways, Luna is a character I have a complicated history with. Yes, she's adored and practically worshipped by a majority of the fandom, but over time, I started to feel like she was becoming extremely overrated. Like, you couldn't go 2 seconds without Luna being praised for simply existing, and her being shoved into every single thing imaginable while her sister Celestia gets either ignored or bashed daily kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And should you dare say anything negative about Luna, you pretty much signed your will then and there. Okay, don't be dramatic. So how does this all tie in with the Luna shoehorning that happens here? I mean, Celestia does get some attention from time to time. She has the biggest ass. She still gets art featured in Draw Friend posts. But compare the number of times Luna gets headers to Celestia. I remember around September or October when we literally got a Luna header almost every single day. It was absurd. Well, October makes sense because, Luna eclipsed is Halloween. But anyways, It was absurd. Like, come on, Luna isn't the only princess you know. Kind of makes something like Luna Day feel redundant since she's pretty much taken over the site. I know I'm not the only one who's getting tired of seeing Luna plastered everywhere. And I'm not saying that we should just never have any Luna headers or that she should never appear in any capacity. Heaven forbid. I'm just saying that she doesn't need to be a constant present all the time. Poor Celestia and Cadence barely get any love. Why not let them get some time in the spotlight for once? Luna isn't the center of the pony universe. It would be nice if Celestia and any other lesser characters took the lead in some form or another. I don't know. Hopefully the whole thing will be settled soon because I don't want to revisit the topic in another year. I want to make my statement first, honey.
Okay.
That I can see why Luna's popular. She's the underdog character because in the, canon of the show, Celestia is more included because she's Twilight's mentor. It's always Dear Princess Celestia and everything like that. Celestia is the main person. So you don't have to think about her as often, but someone who feels unappreciated is going to flock to Luna more easily because Luna was unappreciated canonically first.
And bronies are the rejects of society in general.
Exactly. So it makes sense that they would flock to Luna instantly. It makes sense. I get that. So that's why Luna is more popular in this hemisphere. Now, I get why they're saying, like, oh, Celestia isn't appreciated because we're all going for that underdog Luna. So it kind of makes Luna not the underdog in our kind of community. Mm-hmm. But as someone who appreciates Celestia first, how do you feel about all this?
So, this guy sort of needs to let it go. And I'm not just saying that as a Celestia fan. If you're bringing up, hey, I don't like how much I see Luna, and then you come back 2 years later and say, hey, there's still too much Luna, at that point it's a personal problem. At that point you're just being nitpicky. At that point you're just like you're on Equestria Daily, you're gonna see Luna.
Yeah, community Soapbox mascot is Luna. Luna is in the middle.
Yeah, you're on Equestria Daily, you're gonna see Trixie. I don't like Trixie. I'd come on Equestria Daily so that I can keep a finger on the pulse of the animation, the art, the IDW comics, stupid opinions like this, and the music. I love the music of so I've got to tough out a little bit of Trixie in order to get the rest of the stuff that the Brony fandom has to offer. If seeing Luna triggers you that much, you need to look inward.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love Trixie, but I don't talk about her a lot. And the thing is, the thing I talk about are the things I hate, like Starlight. I've made memes about how much I hate Starlight Glimmer and how much I think she was a mistake.
Bringing it back to Starlight again.
Yeah, exactly. But on those tweets I've made about Starlight, Trixie comes up. And people are always telling me, if you hate Starlight, you must hate Trixie. And I'm like, no, not correct. I hate Starlight. I love Trixie because she's funny, at least. She's entertaining, at least. But the point is, these popular characters come up no matter what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens, and you just gotta be kind of cool with it happening.
And, and more addressing your point, I could just as easily counter with, hey, I am a Celestia fan and a Cadence fan.
Yeah.
Right? But Celestia first and foremost. Why are we discounting the fact that Celestia was far and away the most powerful person in Equestria and ran the show single-handedly for 1,000 years? Like, I don't know why people seem to forget that. You cannot beat 1,000 years of peace and prosperity except with 1,001 years of peace and prosperity, right?
And so, like Twilight ruined that almost immediately.
I'm pretty sure Luna can't raise the sun as well, but Celestia can raise the sun and the moon, right? And I've seen this. She was doing the dream thing. I've seen she wasn't doing the dream thing. No, she definitely couldn't do that. But that's secondary.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is like the mental health of your subject, but whatever.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it does help, right? Like it's like having a medicine to, you know.
It's kind of like in our day society where we can have a focus on mental health, but we didn't always have that.
Right, but people got by without it.
Generations.
People got by without it. Then we're not getting by without the sun and moon.
Totally.
Celestia can move the both of them. I don't remember if it was ever confirmed that Luna couldn't do both.
In an IDW comic she did, because Celestia went into the mirror. You remember that one time?
That's right.
And so Luna did raise the sun and the moon for a while, but then she got the main six being like, hey, what the fuck? I can't do this all day. Go get Celestia back. And they did. Yeah,
so Luna could do it, but not nearly as much or as long.
I'm sure initially Celestia probably had a struggle, like, shit, I gotta do all this shit. She probably had to let some stuff go. Like, just think about it. If you had to take over for the night shift while you already did day shift, some stuff would have to go. I'm thinking about this from like a professional's perspective of someone who's worked those kind of jobs where there's a day shift and a night shift. Yeah. And someone who has to work the middle. If the person who had to do the middle had to do everything, gosh, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, I am at peace with the fact that Luna is far and away the more popular princess. Yeah. Right, and I accept the Brony fandom for what it is, right? I still love the Brony fandom for what it is, even though they're wrong. So you're saying too much Luna, I'm saying not enough Celestia. So I guess in a way we're agreeing.
We should just appreciate everybody. Yeah. I can understand why both people would have their struggle.
Flurry Heart doesn't.
She's a baby. In my mind, she's still a baby because I haven't seen her as a person.
Should not exist as an alicorn.
She's a baby. I don't know.
Care about the baby thing.
She's a baby. I don't know. I don't hold her responsible for anything. She's a freaking baby. She got born. No one asked for that.
I'm willing to forgive Cadence and Twilight as alicorns, right? I will always think there should have never been more than 2 alicorns until the very end, and then maybe make Twilight an alicorn, right? That will always be my stance. But I can forgive Twilight and Cadence being an alicorn. Flurry Heart has no freaking reason.
It's not Flurry Heart's fault that she was born, Brawny. It's just like real life. You can't blame these babies.
It's a meta critique,
Heather. It's
not
the baby's fault.
It's a meta critique.
I understand
that. The writing is bad.
Can you blame me that I'm an alicorn?
Yes, I can, you cringe lord.
I did do that on purpose. I accept that. Fuck you, you're marrying me. So I win in the end, but whatever, let's continue.
All right.
I do want to address something someone said. Yeah. Edgardo J. Cruz says, I never understood the Starlight hate. I did at first, but it too be still going on. But it to be still going on?
But for it to still be going on even now, I think is what he meant to say.
It just seems to be overblown to me, especially compared to other characters. I just don't like her. She was like kind of just a pain in my ass as I kept going, and the most annoying part. Like, there was other parts of the show that were plenty annoying, but she was a consistent one that got on my nerves, if that makes any sense.
Edgardo is telling us to calm down. Listen, I refuse.
Edgardo, this is Brony Debates. What the fuck are you doing? Edgardo, you don't understand.
Like, Edgardo, and I've seen Edgardo in the chat before. He should know what we're about by now.
Edgardo, I can't calm down. Edgardo, this is part of my character. You can't make me calm down. Read the next. Do you want me to read it, or is it my turn?
I think it's my turn. Okay.
Are you sure? I think you read it.
You read this one.
I thought you read that one. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Have another drink, Heather.
Okay.
When a few slides of the plans Hasbro have for G5 in 2024, it seems like Make Your Mark is coming to an end. This may or may not be true, but there is proof to back the idea. Hasbro seems to be putting a lot more time into Tell Your Tale, which would make sense considering how well it has been doing.
I don't know how well it's been doing.
If all of the speculation is correct, then Tell Your Tale is destined to become the only and main TV show for the new generation of My Little Pony. Make Your Mark isn't terrible, but stopping it would mean saving more money, time, and effort that could be put into a show that's doing better. So I guess less content could be more for Hasbro. I just feel like that if Make Your Mark does stop production, that would equal less content for us viewers due to the episodes of Tell Your Tale being shorter.
Look, I would say less equals more, because Make Your Mark didn't hit the spot for me. And I think Tell Your Tale, though it was shorter, was a hit or miss. And the hits, well, they would at least be more funny. I would have to, because I haven't tuned into Tell Your Tale in a while. Make Your Mark, I tried, and I've been trying to catch up on, but it just hasn't been as fun.
So Tell Your Tale is, yes, Tell Your Tale is the more popular of the two.
Yeah.
And Grace here, who I'm going to assume is female by that name, is saying that if Hasbro redirected the resources away from Make Your Mark, that we could have more Tell Your Tale. And
it
that
depends if you like Tell Your Tale.
And that well, Tell Your Tale is more popular. So
it's
like
short bursts, so it's bound to be like a little more. What's the word? I think it's like got a probability of being fun. I remember the times I've watched Tell Your Tale being fun. I've liked Zip in that. Like the last thing I remember is Zip teaching other Pegasus how to fly. Because, that's still a new concept for them, because Pegasus have not been able to fly in a while. And Zip's really loving that aspect of magic coming back.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing I remember.
Rusty saying I'd be okay with less episodes of whatever we got if we got more quality, and I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Grace is asking the question here of how do we divert our resources so that
I think two shows shouldn't have been happening at the same time.
Yeah, if one
idea.
if one is doing better than the other, do you cut one back and have less content, but then
higher
direct those resources? No, you direct the resources to make more, maybe faster. So that would be, with the way that the industry works, that would be more of a redirecting of monetary. So the only real way to do that would be to hire more artists and animators that could then help speed up the production of the episodes. You would need more writers, animators, and artists. You would need more storyboard artists. You would need, because I don't think you would need assistants for the production crew, such as sound and editing and effects. You would need assistants for that. But when it comes down to the actual voice acting, obviously only one person can do that for each of their characters. Yeah. And when it comes down to audio mixing, really only one person can do that, because you need that to be consistent. But
totally.
So if you hired more people on the animation team, you could make more faster. And then obviously you need writers too. But or do you keep the production schedule that you have between the two teams? Now, an animator will likely learn how to do both 3D and 2D animation, but they're also more likely to get hired based off of their, which of their profiles is stronger. So you're going to get hired onto a 3D team, or the odds of you going from a 3D team to a 2D team are not great.
I'm going to say, I haven't shared this with very many people, but I'm educated in both ways of 2D and 3D animation. I've been in courses for 3D animation, and I will say both are very different beasts, so I wouldn't expect most people to be cross-trained. Like, I was actually in a certificate program for 3D animation, and I've been taking on 2D animation lately, and I wouldn't say the experiences are comparable.
Yeah. Now, that's exactly what I'm saying, though. A lot of animators are going to be cross-trained, but they're going to know how to do both to a certain degree, but they're probably just going to...
especially if they have a lot of stuff that's already pre-made for them
but they're probably just going to end up doing one or the other. And I would imagine in this case, an animator having demo reels for both 2D and 3D, but if they were to say, okay, we're going to cut make your mark, which I think they did. Maybe they didn't. And you're like,
I
okay,
don't know about this.
so you're a 3D animator. You're more likely going to be out of a job. There might be a couple that may be able to go help with the 2D team, but it's probably not going to work that way. So
it depends on which is 3D or 2D more
yeah.
cost
Now
efficient.
in this case, if I could produce more faster with a little bit more money, especially if one side of things is getting way more views and and generating more money, I would focus on the one thing. So
which makes sense from a business perspective.
Yeah, if it was me in charge of the show, running this division, the My Little Pony division of Hasbro, I'd put all of my chips on Tell Your Tale because that's the more popular, and I would hire more writers and animators and storyboard artists for Tell Your Tale and get more of them out faster.
And I would say, as a person with a business degree, yeah, that makes more sense. It's just economical.
Yeah, and then what you do is you do them in seasons. You get them, so like right now they just sort of release one a month or something like that. But if you do them in seasons, one a week for, 12 to 24 weeks, and then take a couple of months break, the hype dies down a little bit. You like that, and then you say, hey, we got another season coming up in a couple of months. The hype starts building up for that, and you keep refreshing it that way.
Yeah.
Instead of, after so many episodes, row after row after row, people stop paying attention. People forget that and I've seen that trend a lot when I work in marketing. You can very easily oversaturate your audience, and then your views dip, even if the quality of your project hasn't dipped.
Everything is always a fine balancing act, I find.
Yeah, and you got to be able to read what the audience wants and adapt very quick, which is almost contradictory to the way that the industry works, because the industry has to plan everything out sometimes 3 to 5 years in advance. So you're 2.5 years into a 3-year plan, and you realize that the audience is getting burned out on your current business model. There's no way to backtrack.
Let's try to move on to a different topic, because I feel like we've been on this one for a hot minute.
Alrighty then. So let me blank out the screen real quick here.
Yeah.
And we'll change over to another one.
Yeah, something fresh.
Okay, so this one's interesting.
We're still on G5 stuff.
Yep, and we will be for a while. This next one is from February of 2024. So we're finally back into this year.
Can I read this one?
Sure. So this one's called Tell Your Tales Unexpected Success by Diamando, which I don't believe we've seen that name before.
Yeah, and this should be interesting because I haven't had a minute to catch up on Tell Your Tale, but we're hearing it's the more successful one. It's on YouTube, obviously. That might add to its popularity because it's free. It's something that, the younger audience can watch without much difficulty, and it might just have, more wittier bits because it has to be shorter. So let's read this. If you've been with Generation 5 since 2021, then you understand one thing. The Make Your Mark series on Netflix has ended, while the Tell Your Tale series has earned its second season. But the explanation to why Tell Your Tale has done well, unfortunately, is far more common than you would expect. According to the Wall Street Journal, wow, they put a link in here even. So that's awesome. It's an article labeled Your Kid Prefers YouTube to Netflix. That's a problem for streamers. Free account required to view the article. Shares of views between 2 to 11 has declined from Netflix in September from 25% back in 2021 to 21% today. YouTube, on the other hand, gained those younger viewers from 29.4% to 33%. Furthermore, they prefer shorter segments rather than 22-minute episodes.
This is exactly what I was just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Much like the Equestria Girl YouTube series. I gotta catch up on Equestria Girl stuff. I still haven't had a minute. But in this day and age, more and more kids are going to be drawn to by YouTube, along with more short-form factor cartoons. That explains why Tell Your Tale was a success compared to Make Your Mark. Considering that episodes of Tell Your Tale are released on a weekly or bi-weekly basis compared to Make Your Mark having an entire chapter dumped onto Netflix every once in a while, you can tell where the audience turned to. But it would also mean that should there ever be a G4 revival or G4 reboot of some sort, or even a Pony Life revival, Hasbro may consider releasing it on YouTube to gain a new generation of audience members. It is something to consider should G5 come to an end and Hasbro wants to revisit the G4 main 6. The major advantage of this compared to the G4 days, one doesn't need a premium cable subscription to watch a new episode of My Little Pony. So, what did we think of My Little Pony Life, like with Pinkie Pie and the potions and stuff?
Oh, that stuff put me to sleep. I couldn't handle it.
I enjoyed some of it. I don't remember really watching all of it.
Yeah, I tried to watch it multiple times, and it literally put me to sleep. And the parts I was awake for were just bad. Like, I could not stand...
Wasn't there a part where Celestia was supposed to judge a cake?
I believe so. I don't really remember all that well. But the thing is, alright, so it's actually very easy to understand why Tell Your Tale is better, right? Yes, this day and age, people like shorter form content better, so that's one thing. Mm-hmm. It's on YouTube, which is a lot more easy to access and a lot more easy to navigate than Netflix. It's also free. So between those three factors right there, you're going to get a lot more kids just watching on their tablets, letting the electronic babysitter take over. So you're going to get a lot more views like that. People have problems with the way, Netflix has been tanking the last couple of years because a lot of their business decisions, a lot of their internal and external politics, and they keep raising the freaking prices, and every time they raise the price, they lose another 1 million subscribers. The password sharing nonsense from last year. So there's just...
Was that last year? I felt like that's been going on forever.
It was either last year or 2022. Everything's just been bleeding together for me. But yeah, there's just more people on YouTube, especially kids, who are looking for this exact type of thing. So, if YouTube is a better option, and it's not like you can't make money off of YouTube, especially, when you get into the even hundreds of thousands subscribers, much less millions or tens or hundreds of millions like Hasbro would have, then you're still generating a pretty good amount of income through YouTube AdSense. And then if you're motivating your fan base well enough, you're driving them to go get merchandise, which, as we know from the anime fandom, is where most of your income is going to come from. So it's secondary, but it can still fund the show, which then drives your sales up everywhere. So YouTube really is the better option.
Let's see. Next article.
All right. The non-pony lands in the Season 10 comics from Otaku Senpai again.
Oh, boy. This is short, so why don't you read it? I'm not sure what to expect.
All right. I've been wondering about the new lands from IDW Season 10 comics and reached out to writer Jeremy Whitley.
Oh.
And Mr. Whitley replied via email. His response as follows. Okay, cool. But before we get into the response, what the heck did you say to him? Like, we're going to be missing context here. Hey, Andrew. Apologies if I'm a bit hazy on this. Pardon me, I have to cough. It has been a few years. Ferocity was definitely supposed to be further east than we ever went in the show, on past the dragons. Abyssinia was meant to be relatively close to Cludgetown from the movie. The Parrot Peaks were meant to be past the Griffin Stone. Sick. What do you mean, sick?
I don't know what those parentheses mean.
It means he doesn't like Griffinstone. What the frick is wrong with... What's your problem with Griffinstone?
Well, probably, the people who are pirates and birds and parrots were different from the griffins.
All right. We left the Diamond Dogs home pretty vague but that was meant to be the closest. Just
Yeah, because
hidden
they
in the
were
mountains.
in Ponylands. In season 1, we had to deal with diamond dogs.
Yeah, and the home of the Knights was off in that unexplored west, though on an island further south. It's impossible to find, so wouldn't be on a map anyway. Hope those are satisfactory answers.
Oh, so
we got
I'm thinking this post was in response to a post Otaku Senpai might have made prior that we didn't see. Like, maybe he was continuously making posts about this. Because I don't know what they're referring to regarding the Knights. So I feel like we don't have the context to really comment on this.
Interesting. So
Okay, the next one is MLP What If Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon join
here we
the
go.
CMC by Double C.
Yeah,
oh,
we got.
you've dealt with Double C before.
Yeah, we dealt with Double C in the last segment. He's the what if fan fiction guy with the bad grammar.
So my turn. Both Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon started as spoiled rich kids, still are, who used their status to bully those who they think were below them. In Crusaders of the Lost Mark, it was revealed that Tiara only acted snobby is because her mother, spoiled rich, who is verbally abusive, was making her into her. But Tiara stood up to her, but after that, she and Spoon made only few non-speaking cameos until the final episode. While it would be good to see them in a spin-off that I mentioned before, but what if they joined the CMC? Both Diamond and Silver would join the CMC in On Your Marks, since the episode is among the CMC best. It showed how Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo can help ponies understand what their cutie marks really mean while still helping young ones getting theirs. Instead of Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, Diamond and Silver would help Apple Bloom would notice how sad she was and helped her understand that she can discover more about herself than her friends have their own things. Diamond would this as thanks for helping standing up to her mother understand her true nature, and most importantly rekindle with Silver as thanks Apple Bloom would convince the others to have both joined the group to help with their cause. I feel like there was stuff they were trying to say that we couldn't understand here. Seeing Diamond and Silver being members of the CMC would both change some episodes while adding new ideas. One episode that would be interesting with adding Diamond and Silver is the return of Babs Seed, another character that had promises but got left out for whatever reason. It'd be fun to know her thoughts of the two of joining since her last encounter with them. But she would change her opinion after knowing about Diamond's mother. One thing they'd be impressed is Bab's talent in hairstyling, since her cutie mark is scissors with apple handles. An interesting fan idea that could happen is Starlight being Diamond's sister figure and Trixie being Silver's, since each member has a sister or sister figure to look up except for Gabby. It would make sense that Diamond and Silver have a sister figure to help guide them. Twilight would approve this epically. This will help both Starlight and Trixie improve themselves by having two fillies who started since season 1 as bullies. It would be quite fun to see Starlight and Trixie competing in the sister social against Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow. What would make the sister bond strong is involving Diamond's mother, Spoiled Rich. It was seeing Diamond stand up to her mom, but the two of them would give Spoiled Rich a change in her personality.
Okay, even Jay Yoshi says, I'm losing brain cells with this horrendous grammar.
I'm sorry. I tried.
So, okay. I think we could have gotten a couple of good episodes out of seeing Diamond TR and Silver Spoon join the Cutie Mark Crusaders, because after they got their marks, they became about helping other people understand what they're supposed to be doing, what their talents, what their destinies are. We could have very easily pulled a couple of arcs out of Diamond Tiara practicing being more humble, or Silver Spoon. I'm sure there's a lot we could have gotten out of Silver Spoon. Or,
we got nothing out of Silver Spoon.
Or even them learning how to work together and forgive all of those past transgressions, or maybe not wanting to take the advice of Diamond Tiara or Silver Spoon because of the past, but then saying, oh shoot, they were right. And we can learn from each other despite our differences in the past, so there's a lot that could have been pulled from that, and I really wish we had seen it. I mean, I always say I could have pulled another couple of seasons out of that show as it was at the very least, just with things like this.
I get it. I certainly do. What were they saying should have been the sister figures for Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon? They were saying Starlight and Trixie, and I don't see quite the correlation.
Oh my God, I don't want Trixie in any sort of teaching position.
They were trying to throw some ideas at us. Double C was trying to throw some ideas at us, and if they were structured a little bit better, maybe I'd entertain them a little bit more. It's just, it was really hard to decipher.
Okay, so we got another one from Double C here. What if Sombra was not destroyed and was reformed? Ooh. Okay, so I'm the Sombra expert of the fandom. Let's handle this here. If you all remembered what I said about a second possible... Okay, no, we don't.
I don't. Double C, sometimes I go into this with no context.
Yeah, or what if somebody's just reading you from the first time? You've got to add...
You got to be a bridge. You got to put a bridge somewhere.
All right, so, you know what, Double C? Make a YouTube channel.
Please.
Make a YouTube channel, and then it'll be easy to reference your stuff from the past year. Although, I don't know. If I will feel bad and apologize if English is not your first language, but until then, I can only assume it is your first language, and you simply don't put the effort into even writing these short little blog posts that well. So...
Well, if you don't put enough effort into it, how bad could it feel?
Yeah, a YouTube channel would take exponentially more effort. So if you can't even get your sentence and structure down, if you're too lazy to even get your sentence and structure down, you cannot handle YouTube. Anyway, if you all remembered what I said, which we don't, it is King Sombra was a villain that had fans either love or hate him because the writers of the show never fully developed him as the others, instead as a boring classic villain that Lightning Bliss would agree. Okay, what does Lightning Bliss have anything to do with this?
Yeah, dude, not everyone knows who she is.
And because...
to be fair, I know who Lightning Bliss is. I haven't watched a lick of her videos.
And I've had people do that to me where they say, oh, but Silver Quill said this. It doesn't matter what Silver Quill said. That's a strange appeal to authority. Tell me what you think and justify your thoughts.
Exactly, have your own opinion.
Just because Lightning Bliss or Silver Quill say something doesn't mean it's correct. In fact, the both of them are... Well,
they're people who have their own biases and their own life experiences. I would like to see, raw, where you come from this. Before you heard anyone else, what they had to say about this, I want to hear what you think about this. And give me your raw take on this. And then let's take everyone's perspective into account. And let's kind of try to come with a different thought then.
Or at the very least, you could say... I agree with what Silver Quill said, right? And that way it's still your opinion. It just happens to align with somebody else. And then maybe since, Silver Quill is by far the best of the analysts and one of the most well-known, if he says something, it's more likely that people are you say, hey, what about what Silver Quill said about this issue? And it's more likely going to be, okay, I know exactly what you're referring to. And we just get 5 minutes of explanation.
To be fair, I don't remember the last thing I watched from Silver Quill.
Well, that's not the point I'm making, though.
Yeah, totally
So anyway, here, Tolkien Sauron, but Tolkien gave him character development, more development than the MLP writers did. Tolkien would spend pages on pages describing the way branches on trees looked. The MLP writers have 20 minutes.
I would say I can't remember how J.R.R. Tolkien writes because I only ever read one part of one of his books, one chapter, and I've been meaning to get to it, but he was very descriptive.
Right. And he also had the freedom
of writing a book.
To be able to do whatever the heck he wanted. These guys don't have that. We got 20 minutes.
Yeah, we are very much smaller than the Lord of the Rings fandom, guys.
Right, so why are you comparing Lord of the Rings to Friendship is Magic?
Stop comparing apples to oranges. Stop. Like, I hate that, well, like, you know, My Little Pony stuff gets compared to other stuff. Like, guys, it's not comparable. We're not Star Trek. We're not Star Wars. We're not part of Disney. We're not any of that. We're something completely different.
This is why nobody understands Sombra. They just take what Megan McCarthy said about him at face value. Okay, I used Sauron as a basis of inspiration for the concept of an ever-present threat in the background that had all this lore, that laid all these traps, and
you know, I can
used
appreciate
and used that aesthetic really to deliver the concepts of the importance of knowing your history and how to avoid depression through community and not let depression take over you. That's why, like, so many people don't get that about Sombra, and I really will never understand why. It's so very obvious. And that's why I loved him. And everybody's like, yeah, but they didn't explicitly say it. They don't need to.
Yeah, if it's cool enough.
If you're a good writer, they don't need to.
Continue.
Okay, it's just so frustrating.
No, I get it.
Okay, if you all remember when the Crystal Heart was activated and not only restored the Empire, but destroyed Sombra in the process. It's surprising that Sombra was destroyed twice while other major villains were reformed or imprisoned. But what if Sombra wasn't destroyed and shed the evil and reverts to his normal self like Luna? Okay, so we did get this.
Kinda.
Yeah,
in the comics.
In the comics, we got this. So
And the comics are canon until, like, the show says otherwise.
Yeah, so we had Fiendship is Magic. And Fiendship,
I loved that.
number 1, showed the origin of Sombra, and it was freaking amazing.
It was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
Yeah, and then they expanded on that later on when they sort of... So there was this character called Radiant Hope who was friends with Sombra as a kid.
Yeah,
Sombra himself was a sleeper cell from the Shadow Ponies, who had been banished from the Crystal Empire by the Crystal Heart, and was sort of meant as a way to infiltrate, right? But he didn't know that about himself until later on. He made friends with Radiant Hope, ended up betraying the Crystal Empire, and took over and did everything he did. And then later on, Radiant Hope fled to the Shadow Ponies where they had been banished to, and was in stasis. Yeah, was in stasis in their sort of dimension for like 1,000 years, and then came back when Sombra came back for the second time in the comics.
I think they mentioned she could have been a princess too, with what her special talent was.
Yeah, so Sombra, through her friendship, saw that his ways were wrong, and was going to sacrifice himself in order to protect the Crystal Empire in the comics. But then the Alicorns got together and found a way to, because the Crystal Heart destroys Shadow Ponies, so they found a way to turn him into a full-on pony, and then he went off on his redemption arc, but we never saw him again in the comics. So we got that, but we
got the gist that his quest was going to be to reform the original Princess.
Double C likes to write his own little short fan fictions in here, so let's see.
Yeah, continue. Please go to the end and let's expand on it afterwards.
Okay, so what if Sombra wasn't destroyed and instead was shed of his evil, reverts to his normal self like Luna? After being freed, he would have went into hiding, since many, including Princess Cadence, Shining Mane 6, and the Crystal Ponies would have thrown him in prison. He would stay low until Celestia found him, and seeing he needs help to reform more. That is where she asked the Mane 6 to help him fit in modern society. At first, they would feel the way with Discord, but less with Sombra, since he is less scary, but cautious of not. Sombra is way scarier than Discord.
Totally. Like he's got that edgy OC.
He's not nearly as powerful as Discord, but he is
so much menace.
He is way the frick smarter. and
way
he is
menacing.
way the frick more psychopathic.
Totally.
So let's see here. One thing that would also happen with Discord is royal guards to keep both the main 6 safe and watch Sombra. In either version, it would have been fun to see how overprotective Shining would be to his sister.
Aww.
If you all know me, and we don't, stop doing that, this would be another opportunity for Flash Sentry to appear. Okay, so Double C is a Flash Sentry guy.
Oh, we got a Flash Sentry fool.
No, I kind of like Flash Sentry too. I wish we got more of them.
Of course, who doesn't? I bought you a keychain with him in it. It's next to your head.
Yep, I love that thing. Things would have been stressed in the beginning with Flash and the guards, but then calms down as they get to know Sombra more. One thing Sombra would notice is Twilight and Flash hints of affection. So
Oh, you were just going into it, Double C. You gotta relax. You're putting too much on me right now.
Yeah, like how does Sombra
Double
fit
C,
into Flashlight?
I feel like you want to write a fan fiction, but you're a little too you don't feel like writing a fan fiction, so you kind of just want to get the blurb out.
Well, that's the thing, Heather. Writing fan fiction takes effort.
I had more energy for it when I was a teen. I have teen My Little Pony fan fiction in my computer.
Until Double C comes to me himself and explains why he is the way he is, I'm going to assume he's lazy.
Double C, I want you to talk to me about your Flashlight fan headcanons, your fan cannons, please.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Okay, when it comes to shipping, Sombra has been paired with each of the main 6, Celestia and Luna, but it seems Fluttershy is the clear winner. What
the fuck? Wait, hold on. I gotta rewind.
Heather ships Sombra Pie.
Hold the fuck on. 2 seconds here. Where the fuck were we? Hold on. Things would have been stressed in the beginning with Flash and the guards, but then calms down when they get done somewhere. One thing Summer knows is Twilight fashions. When it comes to Summer, has been paired with the main 6. So little, but seems Fluttershy is the clear. What? What do you mean?
I think he's just talking about in terms of the fandom.
No!
Sombra Shy is more popular in the fandom.
No!
And you know something? I would stand Sombra Shy.
No! Sombra Pie for I'm out of here.
Don't throw my headphones in your glass, Heather.
It's dry. It's been a while. It's dry, though.
Okay.
No!
Why?
I don't want that one. That's not my favorite.
He's just saying Sombra Shy is more popular in the Brony fandom.
No, it's not the one I want.
That's not the point, Heather.
That's not the one I want. Fluttershy can be with Discord or basically anybody else, but I don't want that. I don't want that.
Seeing Sombra act in this manner would play into his long road of redemption. Okay, so we're just doing the Discord redemption thing again. I've read comments about how Tyrek would fit in with Blue Blood, and there is a solution. If you recall, Tyrek from Gen 4 was a toned down from his Gen 1 counterpart who was more ruthless and scary as he possessed the Rainbow of Shadow and had the power to change ponies into dark ponies. If rewritten, it could also turn others into dark versions. That's
a weird way to end this article.
That has nothing to do with
Double C, we need to have a conversation.
Double C, if you've got a good internet connection and a decent microphone, I want you on my show.
I need to talk to you.
I need to pick your brain from a psychological science standpoint. I need to experiment on you. I'm gonna go full Sigmund Freud mode, okay? So before we end this stream, we need to vote on what is the best Cutie Mark Crusader episode. Heather, what do you think the best Cutie Mark Crusader episode is?
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Call of the Cuties, Stairmaster, Cutie Pox, Hodson Hooves Day. That has a special place in my heart. Ponyville Confidential. That was a good one. One Bad Apple. It had a good song.
Flight to the Finish.
It makes me sad. Twilight Time. It also makes me sad. Bloom and Gloom. Nah. Crusaders of the Lost Mark. Nah. On Your Marks. Vaulted Our Cutie Marks. Marks of Recreation. Ends in Friends. Growing Up is Hard to Do. Forever Philly. Forever Philly had them aging up, which I thought was interesting. I don't know.
I'm good. Well, for best, I would say Crusaders of the Lost Mark.
Remind me what you like about that one.
That's where they got their mark.
I guess.
So
it's
and
hard
it was
for me to decide.
it was a well written episode, and it brought that aspect of their arc to fruition and opened the door for the next one.
At least it made it so it wasn't pointless. Like they didn't all get their mark, and they were like basic things. And
Ponyville Confidential is my favorite one, though.
I did like that. I liked the Gabby Gums arc.
Right. And that's about it. Because that had the most development for the three of them all together. And then, of course, the rest of these are, people are the CMCs and their individual struggles. But Ponyville Confidential balanced all three of the characters, had a very good lesson, very good writing. So Ponyville Confidential is my favorite, but I believe that Crusaders of the Lost Mark from an objective standpoint is the best.
Maybe I have to rewatch all of them.
Rusty says Brawny's going to do a lobotomy on Double C.
I like what Paladin Pony T said. Heather, it's okay, don't have a cow. I will have a cow, but he says...
told me to kiss you.
Okay.
Mwah.
I don't know if I'm fixed yet.
What? What do you mean fixed, Heather?
I don't know.
It was knowing that Sombra Shy is more popular in the Brony fandom.
That's not the optimal ship. That's not the optimal ship.
Take a couple of minutes.
That one artist. It's all because of that one artist. That ship doesn't work.
Okay, so take a couple of minutes to explain why Sombra Pie is better.
I'm going to explain to you why Sombra and Luna would probably be a little bit better. It's kind of hot if you think about it.
Okay, well, keep it appropriate for my channel. And, oh wow, everybody agrees Crusaders of the Lost Mark is the best. But keep it appropriate for my channel and explain to me why Sombra Pie is better than Sombra Shy. Go ahead.
Well, honestly, every ship for me is always the basis of what's more fun to watch. You can't tell me Flutter Shy, like Sombra Shy and Sombra Pie. Like, anything with Pinkie Pie is way more entertaining. And I have a lot of fan fictions I would point people to. Like, there was one where, like Pinkie Pie played a prank on a not completely reformed, but someone who was in rehabilitation, a Sombra. She put pink highlights in his hair and was chased by him. And Fluttershy was in this fanfic. She was chased by him through all of Ponyville, and Fluttershy was just holding on to his tail the whole time. I'm sorry. I hit your microphone during that. I was very excited to talk about this fanfic I haven't read in like 10 years. But yeah, shit. Like Fluttershy was hanging on to like freaking Sombra's tail, and Pinkie Pie put highlights in his mane, and she was like, "Please don't kill me. I was just pulling a prank, bro." It's just way more fun. The ship that is more fun is gonna get me. Pinkie Pie is way more fun with Sombra because you can just bet that Sombra was just such a fucking stiff and all like hoity-toity and all that bullshit, and Pinkie Pie was just like up in his hemisphere getting him reformed and shit. I just think it was more fun. And Fluttershy, it's just so predictable. She's kind and patient, and like it's the same thing that would have worked out with Discord. It's just the same thing. She would have been just patient and kind, having them work on their issues, and it would have been all wholesome and shit. But I'm sorry, I like a little fucking spark, okay? Is that so wrong? Is it just like I want this to be a little exciting and eventful? So chaotic, so toxic? Is that wrong? And I think with Discord and Fluttershy, Discord brought a lot of the, the spontaneity into the relationship, so that's what made, like, Fluttershy and Discord work. But you don't get that with Sombra and Fluttershy. Like, I get what that one artist, who I can't remember, did. It was a great aesthetic.
Evelyn.
But, yes, that was the one.
Wrote a fan fiction, too, but never finished it.
But, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is Pinkie Pie brought the spontaneity into the relationship. You need at least one person bring the spontaneity into the relationship. You want to go to get ice cream after this?
If our favorite ice cream place with the waffle cones is still open, then
hold on,
sure.
I'm gonna see if I have coupons for the other place.
All right, but anyway, Sombra Shy and works the same for the same reasons as Disco Shy does, right? Okay, that's a significant coupon. So we'll take a look at that.
I have 2.
All right, cool. So it works for the same reason. Now, Heather, you got to understand, Sombra and I are very similar in the fact that we both have serious anger management issues.
Yeah.
And you know that the very act of having you around me, I got you. The very act of having you around me calms me down a lot and gives me a lot of strength, right? So that helps. So you and I have a very similar relationship dynamic as Sombra Shy would.
Yes.
And Sombra Shy works for the same reason as Disco Shy works, because she is kind and she is patient, and where she reins in Discord's desire to be chaotic, but also admires that chaos and that spontaneity and that randomness. We had a whole episode about that in season 7. With Sombra, it would be much the same thing, but she would be there to sort of balance out his wrath, and that kind of thing. It would be a very calming presence so that's why it works. I used to ship Disco Pie. I would have rather have had.
Well, that's too much crazy in one pie.
That's exactly the point I'm getting to. I would rather have Sombra Shy and Disco Pie, but as I think about it, even like in this moment as I'm thinking about it, I realize that Disco Pie, they would only enable each other, and it would create a horrible feedback loop that would destroy Equestria. I have no doubt about that. And we saw what happened when Pinky got a hold of Discord's power for even just a couple of seconds at the end.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, so imagine the two of them romantically involved now, and what that would be.
It's a little too intense.
Yeah,
What you think about
so I see where you're coming from. I am going to give you, like, I prefer the aesthetic and I relate to the idea of Sombra Shy more, but I'm going to give it to you, Heather. Sombra Pie is a better ship.
It's funner.
Yeah.
I saw someone asking, Rusty Heraldry was asking Heather, so what about the
Hot ship between Sombra and Luna. I'm just saying, it's the edge ship. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole underdog thing. Because Sombra was the black and red OC with Luna, the Night Princess, being together.
If you want to see that ship play out in real life, all you need to do is get a time machine, go back to the year 2004, and hang out in a Hot Topic for more than a couple of hours. The goth couple is going to walk in and go shopping. That's what it looks like.
It's kind of hot.
I don't know. I never got along with the goths.
I loved Hot Topic.
Yeah, I know.
What are we?
A mismatch at the very least. The only reason we're together, Heather, is because you have horrible taste in men, and because literally nobody else has ever found me even slightly attractive. So we're just kind of stuck with each other.
I am not stuck here. I could break out at any point if I wanted to.
If you wanted to. All right, we're going to wrap it up there, though.
Yeah, we've been over 20 minutes, and I have stuff to do, like eat ice cream and maybe do something with cosplay.
Yeah, we're going to film some cosplay videos because my wife is freaking gorgeous, and y'all should go subscribe to her TikTok. Anyway, thanks to everybody who tuned in, and thank you for your comments. Nathan saying no cheese sandwich and Pinkie Pie.
And well, that's kind of predictable.
It's kind of predictable. It's all good, though. I certainly don't mind it. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. We're going to be doing this again next week, and we'll see you then. So stay safe, God bless, and have a wonderful night, everyone. Say goodnight, Heather.
Night.